Hey guys, so the fourth day of JuV is going to be me talking about my favourite superheroes and just giving you a sort of rundown of why I like them and some awesome moments that they've been involved in their comics and movies and stuff. This is mostly in no particular order, so I hope you're sitting comfortably. We're gonna begin. My favourite DC hero is most likely Green Lantern. I mean, the reason for that is pretty obvious. For a nerd like me, who has very little athleticism but a lot of imagination, a superhero whose ability and power is based solely on his imagination and willpower, it's a no-brainer. It's very attractive. I even got a whole load of friends together to go and see the film when it came out. And obviously that turned out just fantastically. At least one of them hasn't forgiven me yet. For most people, the most iconic Green Lantern is John Stewart, and yeah, no, he's pretty much my favourite out of them as well. And the thing about him is that he tried to overshoot the powers of his ring, and he actually did overshoot them, as he tried to recreate a whole planet, and it would have worked if not for his ring's power. So I didn't always have the most time for the next character on this list, which is Legion. Legion is not maybe the best known character out of all of the ones on this list, so I'm going to explain, despite the fact that he's recently had a TV show that I still haven't managed to watch yet. Legion is Professor X's son, whose power is as unbound as his alternate personalities. He's got quite a confusing family backstory, which is something I can relate to, as his mother is an Israeli diplomat, his father is an American super leader / teacher, but despite all that, he was raised in Scotland, so he's got a Scottish accent. Legion's powers are controlled by his various alternate personalities, and he has to wrest control of them to be able to do anything. And thus, he has been in various different roles, from hero to villain, all over the place in the various times of the comics. What really made me like him, though, is the most recent run on X-Men Legacy. In that run of the book, he had to deal with the aftermath of his father's death, and there's some really, really good stuff in there. You should really, really check it out, and I've got to remind you that he actually has a Scottish accent in that, unlike in every single other thing that has him in it. You don't know how good it is until you see him call Wolverine a hobbit. So good. I also want to talk a little bit about Iron Fist, whose recent Netflix show has not endeared most fans to the character, which I think is a real shame because I've had a soft spot for him for a number of years. Danny Rand is a really interesting character who espouses a different sort of mysticism than the Doctor Strange versions. With Doctor Strange, it's all about the occult and using energy from out with yourself for different ends, whereas with Iron Fist, it's all about ki and the energy within yourself, and it's really a very different way of looking at things. Never mind the fact that he has a sweet dragon tattoo on his chest from, depending on the version, hugging or killing a dragon. Definitely a highlight for me is when Iron Fist channels the ki that he normally uses in his fists to give him his name into a train to make it into a massive bullet. It's brilliant. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Hulk, who needs no introduction, so I'll just say Hulk smash! And leave it at that. What makes me like Hulk is very similar to Green Lantern in that it's a bit of wish fulfillment. Nerdy guy lets out his emotions and power, becomes very, very strong despite not being so in his normal form. What can I say? It's pretty obvious. I also want to say a bit about Invincible. Invincible's a half satirical, half serious parody series of mainstream superhero stuff, and I really like the way that it's been done in that series, and particularly the way that Mark, the main character in that, he eventually becomes a real character outside of being just a parody sort of thing. Well, not a parody, you know, confusing. But I like the way that he becomes more realistic as he goes on. Now, this may seem like a bit of pandering, being as this character is one of the next ones to get an MCU film, but I really, really like Black Panther, guys. He's got the legacy, he's got a completely different outlook than most characters. It's really, just so much good. I really, really like Black Panther. So I knew a bit about Black Panther before, but what really made me like him was this run that the owner of the comic book shop I go to lent me a while back, where, like, so much cool stuff happens. But most notably, the series starts with the US diplomat to Wakanda sitting in his crappy little apartment where Black Panther's meant to be staying, in his underwear, next to Mephisto. Psst, the devil! It's, like, that's the way the series starts. What? As you go on, that run just keeps getting better and better, and I hope that they bring in a lot of the elements of it into the MCU films. It's be good. The final character that I want to say about is the one I'd usually describe as my favourite. It's very controversial, but my favourite is Cyclops. What? I hear you ask? Why? I'll explain. Cyclops has had a lot of shit happen to his character over the years in both the movies and the comics. He's been shafted in the movies because they've just wanted to be Wolverine all the time. In the comics, the plot and editorial diktat has made him cheat on his wife with his ex-girlfriend who got resurrected from the dead, had him leave said girlfriend after he'd gotten married to her for an affair with a very interesting character, and then become a bad guy. There's all sorts of stuff, and then he's basically been replaced with a younger version of him from time travel and stuff, and I don't like that stuff. He's still my favourite character though. What I've always appreciated about the character is his willingness to put aside his own comfort and safety in order to protect others. Mainly other mutants, but others in general quite often as well. No matter what editorial shit happens next, my favourite will always be Cyclops. Okay, so this was my list, and at the end of scripting this video, I realised that I didn't actually have any female characters on it. I do have a lot of favourite female characters, but I just couldn't think of them while I was scripting it, and I'll do another video about them at some point. Let me know in the comments down below who your favourite superheroes and superheroines are. I would love to know, so let me know down below. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and that you remember to like and share it and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails down below to see other videos by me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!